Welcome back, everyone. BC here, wrapping up a rather shitty for me 2022 and moving to a hopefully better 2023 with a new Dominions game. One of my other series had me playing, well, two of my other series, I guess, had me playing on this map, MA Mortal Realms. So you'll recognize it here. And this game will be all MA nations in MA Mortal Realms, kind of similar to my end game with fixed starts. Bluefire did a lot of work to A, make this gorgeous, and B, improve the connections. So we've got some connections up at the top here, and the caves are a little more fleshed out, and then some of the land connects to each other a bit better. In that other game I was playing is End, which has been moved around some. They're around here. This game I will be playing as Nabah. So I'm gonna go through a brief overview of Nabah. Well, knowing me, it probably won't be brief, but I'm going to explain the decisions I'm making with a little bit of context. So Nabah on this map has a lot of neighbors, a lot of close neighbors. We've got Abysia to the south. We've got Satis over to the west. We've got Banderlog to the east here. Uruk is somewhere around here. Maybe it's further up. I don't remember exactly. I renamed the start provinces so I could find them. If I don't find it within a few clicks, I'm just going to give up on that, though. And then you'll just have to trust me that Uruk is somewhere around here. Okay. Yeah, and the big challenge is Ashdod right here. Ashdod is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 provinces away from me. So the fair split would be like us taking provinces each within 3 of us, but Ashdod is an infamous early game power, and we're going to be playing on slow research, which means that I won't have as many counters to Ashdod researched. So just to wrap up our recall our land neighbors, we've got Banderlog over here, and there are land connections to my peninsula. And Abysia down here, and Satis to the west over here. And then Satis has a lot of open land over here. Machaka's somewhere around here, I think, but I don't remember where. Oh, there's Nawala. Or maybe that's Machaka and I just labeled it wrong. Anything's possible. So, let's go into my pretender design. Now, Nabah is famously very powerful, which is both a blessing and a curse for this game, because it could easily lead to people being like, get him before he gets going. And we'll see if people elect to do that. We go ahead and look at Nabah. I've got these sacred elves. They're very nice. They've got a strong defense skill, glamour, stealthy. They've got built-in fire resistance, which, like, lots of my troops have fire resistance. Maybe it's just the sacreds. Have fire resistance because the desert is hot. So that will be a nice thing to if Abysia gets feisty. We've got these camels that can be recruited anywhere. They are stealthy, and they come with a falcon each. Falcons being particularly powerful because they can attack mages on turn 2 and mess with their scripts, and they can also split up enemy formations. As with any giants, we have some dudes that hit like trucks. So these are the elite soldiers with 23 damage on their attacks, even without Legions of Steel, or even without Strength of Giants, which would bring them to 27. The Gen Guard only do 21, but again, all of these are buffable. The light infantry, I don't plan on recruiting any of them, really. And then these archers. These archers are a well-known strength of the nation. They have these great bows that fire from a long range, and I have all the paths to buff them very nicely. And because they are archers with high protection as well, you can basically have them form a wall in front of your mages. Balls has a guide on the wiki about as this being a part of their strategy, and it's a good strategy. So those are troops. Mages, we've got these Caribs. These are my cheapest researchers. They're stealthy. They're like really weak, but they're efficient researchers and they can bless. Mukaribs. These guys are kind of my staple researchers. They have 21 HP. They can form communions. They have Holy 2, which means that similar to End, I can do a Smite communion with 2 Mukaribs, and then the rest of them being like 2 slaves and the rest being masters, and then all of them will be Holy 3 and can Smite, and that will be part of my strategy early on. Genemirs. These are recruit anywhere thugs. They're really good. They're stealthy, and this random is useful no matter which random you get for different reasons. So the earth ones make the best thugs. Air fire ones can still thug, but also do like evocation stuff. I will not have the best bless for thugging, but that is what it is. Sahir, these are even better thugs, but they take 4 recruitment points and they cannot bless themselves. So, pros and cons. And Malika, the crown jewel. These are cap only, 4 recruitment points. They are flying, ethereal, stealthy, magic power, which will not actually help me because I will not be taking magic scales. But if I end up fighting Banderlog, then that will be nice. 3 fire, 3 air out of the box means that they can cast a bunch of cool battlefield magic, and then all of the randoms make that even better. And they can also be thugged very effectively. And then finally we've got these Hermit Sahirs. I'm actually going to be recruiting a few of these. They're slow to recruit, but they have all 3 of these paths guaranteed, which the only other mages that I have with that guarantee are Malika. They're much more likely to get Earth 2, which lets me then do the bootstrapping stuff you'd expect there. They come with a dog, which is kind of cool. The other thing about the Hermit Sahirs is that you recruit them outside of forts, and labs cost 20 in wastes, and I am guaranteed to start next to some wastes, so I can pop down a cheap lab there and start recruiting Hermit Sahirs. Alright, so I'll walk through the 2 options I was considering. I'll first go with the option I didn't pick. This is what I would do against a random field, but it's, well, I guess I shouldn't say random field, but like, I was strongly considering this one. This guy here, he's discounted for Nabah. He has awe. Do I not have the mod enabled? Oh. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and enable DE, and then we will see him in all of his glory. The units are still the same. So discounted, he has built-in awe, great thug paths, so like this guy can be easily turned into a super combatant. And what I was gonna do was something like this, with the thinking being defense skill, because that's always good for elves, especially if I'm fighting Ashdod, where it's better to just not get hit than to try to tank it. Regen, which is good for giants. Swamp Survival versus Satis. Strength and Strength again. And then paying for this, we could take Order because all of our troops actually have low recruitment point costs. Tank a bit of Misfortune. And then do something like this, or maybe this. So this was plan A, and to be honest, it probably works. To fight Ashdod with this would purely be relying on the strength buffs to the Janguard, and then supplementing them with elite soldiers who also hit pretty hard. The problem with this is, like, I kept running tests against basically 20 Ashdod giants, and I was always failing. It was not great. They just hit too hard, and when they have like Blood Bond and Regen, and the Nature Smite Word of Thorns is infamously terrible. Entangle Heretics does nothing against Ashdod Sacreds either, because they're strong enough to just bust out of it. So I went a different route. I guess I also haven't talked about some other Nabah strengths that pushed me in this direction, but I'm going with the Anunnaki of the Moon. A little more expensive, but paths cost 20, which means I get a wider bless. This guy will also be quite competent super combatant. He doesn't have built-in awe, but he can magic phase move, which is really nice. And let's show what we'll be doing here. So, can't afford the productivity, which is fine. Productivity is nice on this nation, but not necessary. We'll get swiftness, a little bit of shock resist, defense. Still getting swamp survival versus Satis. We now pick up Farcaster, which is really good for a nation with this many evocations. Get Stygian Flesh, because that's the only thing worthwhile at Death 5, other than like 10 Undying, but that I don't see the value there. Poison resistance and strength. So we've sacrificed a scale, we've sacrificed a regen. Sacrificing regen is noteworthy because it makes our thugs a lot less effective out of the box. Regen is just so valuable in dealing with chip damage. But what we have gained is, well, you see some of the stuff that we've gained in the Bless. Stygian Flesh will be nice for expansion, and it'll be nice for anybody who doesn't have magic weapons. So like Ashdod won't care, but Satis, for example, probably will not take magic weapons. And maybe they will because I'm next to them and I have ethereal dudes. We'll see. The other thing is that now I get the Death Smite, Syllable of Death. And the Death Smite, it'll have Farcaster, so long range. It has a 9% chance to just straight up kill the target. And so the goal will be to, like, if we have to fight Ashdod early, set up a wall of random shit, whether it's falcons or sacreds with their defense or what have you, and then make that a small communion of 2 slaves and as many masters as we can scrounge, and have them all spam smite. And if that takes out an Ashdod Sacred each turn, then eventually there won't be as many. So that is going to be the plan. I've mentioned that there's some spells that also push me in this direction. So we've got a considerable number of blood spells, actually. The most noteworthy ones are these Efreets here. They are really good. Magic power I won't be benefiting from, but they're still really good. And so it's a good reason to break into blood and then empower a Malika to summon them. These Shaitans can do corruption, which is pretty cool. And these Gadders here, Gadars, whatever, each of them has blood magic. So, like, once you summoned one, then that guy can summon the rest of them. So, lots of cool blood stuff. Conjuration, I don't plan on summoning ostriches or lions. Jinn, these are powerful thugs. They sneak around and cause trouble. Jinn warriors are good but expensive. Probably won't be making too many of them. I don't personally like the hens. They're unseen, but meh. Don't remember too much about the Salats. I can summon a Houri. Not going to be summoning any bins. Probably. Never say never, I guess. And then, of course, the Crown Jewels, the Marids, and Suleiman. These Marids are phenomenal super combatants. So, if I get to Conjuration 8, then you best believe that they will be hitting the field. And then there's this super combatant that can be summoned at the very end. I don't recall anything for alt. Nope. And then Evocation, we get a couple. Scorching Wind is a fatigue spell, which is actually worthwhile considering on Ashdod, except it probably comes on too late to be useful for any battle there. But it makes a considerable amount of fatigue for affected units. And then Smokeless Flame. This is a really good spell. And it's going to have its range boosted by 1.5, so it'll be range 52. Every Malika can cast it out of the box, and it just aces a non-giant unit. 45 damage straight to the dome, and I can buff the precision. So, this is a powerful spell. So, in looking at research, I want alt up to 3 or so, maybe 4 for body ethereal. I'll want evocation up to 6. Shimmering Fields is really good, but we'll see where we're at that point in the game if we make it there. Enchantment, there's not too much that's super inspiring here. Like, I mean, there's quality stuff, don't get me wrong, but nothing that's really worth rushing that I see. Skill of Heroes is really good, don't get me wrong. Fire Shield for my thugs. This Consecrate block thing is a kind of like Wasteborn type of thing to leave behind a defense block. But yeah. And then Thumb has useful anti-Ashdod spells that came on way too late, like being able to just straight up soul slay him with 1 MR check instead of 2 would be pretty nice, but well, we'll see where I'm at when I'm considering that. Definitely the top priorities for research will be a little bit of alt, some construction, of course, and then I'm really going to want a lot of evocation and conjuration. So that's going to be the plan. The only other thing is to name this god, and as you recall, we have these nice archers, so they will be unleashed. And with that, let's get to it.